Once again, we get our view of the Oshawa Curling Club, our home for the next 2 days as we conclude the 2025 edition of the World Financial Group Canadian Junior Cup. And as we bring you inside the building, once again, as always, my name is Matthew Hall. I'm joined in the commentator booth. On my left, Tori Zemelink. And on my right, Rob Faulds as well has come in for a draw this afternoon. Nice to have you, Rob.
Pleasure to be here.
And we are looking at our feature matchup here on Sheet 4. Team Morges, ACE&Company. The lead is Antoine Beauvais. Second, Noe Kuhn. Third, Liam Dryborough. The skip, Nathan Dryborough. They are coached by Stuart Dryborough. And matching up against them with the Redstones, it is Team Benning out of the North Grenville Curling Club, coached by Brian Benning. The lead, Jacob Piernick. Second, Cameron Wright. Third, Owen McTavish. And the skip is Aaron Benning. It was a draw to the button to determine final stone here in the first end. Team Benning with their first practice just grabbed the side of the button. Team Morges could not match them, so it is Team Benning throwing the Redstones with hammer here in the first end. Lead stones for the team out of Switzerland is Antoine Beauvais. This should be a very good matchup that we have here. This team out of Switzerland starting off with 2 wins in their first 2 games, albeit very close, a 7-4 victory over Team Radia that was tied most of the game. Followed that up with a 6-5 win over Team Shirk. Team Benning, on the other hand, is currently sitting at 1-1 after a 10-4 victory over Team Shirk, and followed that up with a 1-point loss, so a very close game to Team Radia. These teams fighting for playoff position here. As a reminder, 12 teams on the men's side. The top 4 will be seeded directly into the quarterfinals, while seeds 5 through 12 will have to play a play-in game tonight for those final 4 spots. So critical game here for both teams. You end up with that 3-0 if you're the Swiss. You are for sure directly into that quarterfinal. If you lose, it might be a little bit of a toss-up based on LSD numbers. Team Benning with a fantastic LSD so far. They were at 0 centimeters coming into this game, and I'm sure biting side of the button will be more than enough if they happen to win this game to possibly get that bye. So big game for both teams wanting to avoid that play-in game, and first end here might be headed for a bit of a blank as the teams would like to break in the ice just a little bit more.
Same thing probably?
Yeah, probably try the corner.
Put the corner, hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Should be close. Slid pretty good there.
Changing things up now with the Swiss rolling out on their last stone. Might as well take the free opportunity to throw the corner. And we'll see
might be in there.
whether Team Dryborough is willing to peel it out and continue to play for the blank, or maybe try to put a little bit of pressure back down the center.
We're trying to put a corner up the last just a little deep, and then just gave Driver an opportunity to clear the house again. Tori and I saw this on
they can hit and roll in,
just get in, try to, as you said, check the ice out, see which way it's going.
Well, especially the ice that we've seen has been fairly consistent, I would say, but it is very quick, a little bit straight at times, and there are some tricky spots. So most of the teams have been happy to waste an end or two just to really make sure they have a handle on things before they decide to push the envelope.
Also,
I gotta pull one.
plain old cold,
No.
rainy.
There's a 3.
So that causes extra problems for the ice cream. Nathan said that he's going to do a great job of handling the
Yeah, and they were here early this morning. You can't see by our cameras, but as we look around, there are a couple buckets out between some of the sheets trying to handle some drips coming from the ceiling. It rained all day yesterday, so that's got to add some extra humidity. And they came in early. Our first draw was actually delayed 15 minutes because they were putting in so much work to try and get it ready for these players. But we are back on time now.
Just blanket
The
probably.
Swiss team out of the city of Morges, which I believe is located just on the northern shore of Lake Geneva.
That's the blue zone.
Oh, man.
Swiss geography. And there's the Swiss right there. Trying to peel that guard. This shot takes
Loop it.
So a reminder again, these Swiss teams are here as part of the exchange program that we have with the Swiss Cup. Of course, the top ranking Canadian team out of this event will afford the opportunity to travel to Switzerland, get a trip paid for them. They will travel to Switzerland, do some sightseeing, and compete in their version of the Canadian Junior Cup, the Swiss Cup, as the Canadian teams there, and vice versa. The top Swiss team at that event comes over here and competes with us the next year as our Swiss representatives. We have already seen the Swiss women earlier in this competition, and now we get our first look at the men.
It's a nice draw around there by Owen McTavish.
Yeah, and we've seen speed be a little bit of a tricky thing to grab hold of, especially early in these games. So fantastic work there by Owen McTavish to dial in that weight and make that draw around the corner. It's dead buried as I sit here behind the hack, so this is a tough chase, but looks like they're going to take it on.
Tire. Whoa. Kill.
Now in our first draw this morning, this specific path and
Whoa.
gave a
Tire.
lot of problems. We
Go.
started out
Go.
dead straight and then just gradually started to get a little bit more curls. So the way that ran makes me think it's a little more back to normal, but that was a great shot.
Same?
Yeah, that spot off the line, especially this intern going away, that's the one spot on the sheet that seems to catch teams with the over curl. But as we've been, I guess, harping on maybe a little bit, Tori, a lot of those shots really comes down to your weight control. If you throw the right weight, just what you need to remove a stone, you can really bring your sweepers into play and help you make those shots.
This rock taking off a little earlier than his first, but great sweep by the sweepers to get that by the guard.
Hard, boy. Hard, Nathan. Hard, 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 hard. I'm out.
We're making him draw. I kind of hate
Ends up a little heavy, mostly likely just due to the sweep. Probably would have been close to T-line out of his hand if they didn't have to go the whole way.
Is that in? Oh. We'll confirm with them. Like, I think it's out. I don't want to just move it. Yeah.
He has to be careful with this action.
Poking us. It's got to be a little bit. I slid a little. Yeah. And I said it a bit.
I believe this is your home club, correct, Rob? So we'll lean on you for all the
Yeah, play it too.
secrets for all the sheets.
Whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa.
You can kind of see, yeah, you can just kind of see that that rock is just hanging out in those wider paths. And
Oh, yeah, yeah. for
just
sure.
in general, with any outside in with the hits, I think.
Certainly the
I like going there.
Mixed doubles line, I find it, you're kind of treading on some dangerous ends.
the opportunity here for Aaron Benning, split the rings and chance for two here in the first. Of course, all 8 sheets are in play once again this afternoon, and we'll keep you updated on scores, standings, and what everything means for the playoffs as we move towards them
Line's good.
tonight.
Line's good.
And Benning looks like he's decided to play to the same side.
Hard.
Slightly more aggressive call here, trying to go around the corner guard.
Whoa. Line's good. Line's good. Let's stop.
Hard, Nathan, hard, Nathan, hard, Nathan, hard, Nathan, hard, Nathan.
That's always an interesting situation, and I love seeing how different teams decide to play that. The more aggressive call to go around your corner, but brings in the opportunity for the 3 if you happen to get a miss out of the Swiss team. Could have drawn to the open side, and if he makes pretty much the same shot towards the backing, you're guaranteed your 2 most likely, but you don't have that opportunity to go for more. So always interesting to see how teams play it, especially early in games.
High chance to just kick and pull out.
Nathan will get a second opportunity at this out turn. Sure, he learned something from his first one, so should have a good chance at this.
What was the high chance he takes and leaves it open, and then, like, if he's shot, you can probably just follow him down, do exactly what he just did.
Wants to get this right to the nose.
Yeah. Might. He hits like 3/4.
It's like a little bit of a softer weight as well.
Whoa. Attention. Attention.
Looks like it has a much better chance early.
Calme. Whoa, tire. 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 Nice, Nathan.
He went to school on his first one.
Fantastic result there by Nathan. Will more or less guarantee him the force. I don't think there's any reasonable shot for 2 here. We're taking a quick look, but in all likelihood, we'll see the draw
13-2.
to the button, or looks like he just wants to take the same path as his first one for his single point.
Line's good. Line's good.
You're not backing, you're good. Straight, just make sure.
Straight back.
So they'll walk this down right to that yellow stone to score their single point here in the first, but it could have been more if not for a fantastic final shot by Nathan Drybera after one end of play.
I've stood at the pinnacle of curling and battled in the most intense games.
Out on the ice, there's no room for compromise.
And when the pressure's on, every millimeter counts.
It's not just a game.
It's about maximizing performance.
Pushing limits.
Seizing victory.
When victory hangs in the balance,
I know what I'm relying on.
It's a gold line. It's a gold line. It's a gold line.
And it's the choice of champions.
I don't care. Well, what do we know better?
I don't know, what do you know better?
And we pick up action once again here at the start of the second after 2 fantastic shots there to finish. That ends up with a single point for Team Benning. Throwing the lead stones on the way back is Jacob Piernick. And we promised we'd keep you updated on all of the action out here today. We're going to take a look at the standings as they currently look, starting with the U18 boys. 12 teams in play. Newport, Stesky, and Ganjaga have all earned their spot directly into the quarterfinals, as well as Team Shell, based on those LSD numbers, will earn his way into the quarterfinals. The rest of the teams will play a play-in game tonight or this afternoon at 4 o'clock to try to earn that final spot into the quarterfinals as U18 boys play has concluded the round robin portion. As we look at the U18 girls, only 8 teams, so all teams will progress to the quarterfinals, but they are still playing their final games in places. We see here the current standings. Team Stilp and Team Perot currently lead the way with undefeated records, and they will likely play against Johnston and Ronenfier in the quarterfinals if the standings stay as they are. U21 men, which includes the game we're currently looking at. Team McTavish finished off their round robin portion this morning with a win, moves them to an undefeated record. And I will update you that these LSD numbers are currently up to date, including this draw. So McTavish has likely guaranteed himself the #1 seed going into the quarterfinals. He has. I just got that confirmation. But still 2 other undefeated teams, including the Swiss team we're currently watching. Look at that. Team Benning as that 4th seed would love to win this game and keep that direct berth into the quarterfinals.
Outstanding LSD.
Yeah, and I looked before this game. They were actually at 0. So they had pin and pin in their first 2 games and then just biting the button on this one. So that's fantastic. Over at the women's side on the U21, of course, we saw Team Blades as part of our feature game this morning. They are the first team to finish with an undefeated record, although that LSD number is a little bit high, so they have not guaranteed themselves the top seed. Team Stepera and Team Regan looking to take that spot from them. We also see St. James and Dundas have concluded their round robin. Everybody else still with a game to play. And we'll keep you updated as we go along the way, not only with scores, handshakes, but also what that will mean for the standings. Coming back to our feature matchup here, Team Benning looking to remove this yellow stone and roll behind the red. This Team Morges, actually the defending silver medalists at the Swiss Under-21 Championships, and they won bronze 2 years ago, so I'm sure they're hoping to make one more step up at the podium when they get their opportunity this year. But you know, the Swiss program, just an envy the world over. I think it's sort of always been that way. They've always been so deep. They usually have 2 very good world championship teams, followed by 2 younger ones who are looking to make their way up. I know, Rob, you've had the opportunity of seeing, Yannick and Silvana, but then you have teams like Hosley and Xenia Schwaller who are starting to make their way, and then even you go past that, you have Brunner, Corey Hurleman, who I believe won a bronze medal at the Europeans this year. So these very good young teams are probably going to have to wait their turn a bit to make their steps up the rankings, but the Swiss program has always been so strong. I mean, I even think back to, I'm maybe dating myself a little bit, but the likes of Claudio Pescia and Ralph Stockley, Miriam Ott and Binya Felcher back in the early 2000s. They've just always seemed to have that opportunity to have 2 or 3 very strong teams who are always world championship contenders.
And they use them too. Claudio Pescia's coaching, Miriam Ott coaching. So they're using the experience they've got to try to pass that down to the new teams. It's been great to see. Their program is strong, and they identify, and they have that opportunity to get them into a training center, to get them work on their game, and have found the right matches for a lot of them.
And, you know, I do think they share a lot of information, too, amongst their teams, or at least it seems that way. I've had the opportunity to play against Yannick Schwaller a couple times this year at the Slams and last year. And, you know what, you look at, even when you watch the sweepers on different Swiss teams, they all seem to have a similar style or similar technique. And I'm curious to see if maybe they even are sharing information, or maybe they're just closely monitoring and watching each other and trying things out. But you watch a sweeper like Pablo Lashaw, and then you look over and you watch Carol Howald on the other side, and their technique is always so pristine and very similar. So I think they do a very good job with the fundamentals, figuring out what are some different techniques that they can do in order to improve. And I think it works its way down the program from there.
And I think it becomes like a national style, too. I mean, this is the way it's done, and he did it, so I'm going to do it. It worked for them, and it just seems to move through.
I say even on our Swiss women's game, you could see that same sweeping.
You see the hop?
See the hop, you see just their body positioning even in the same
Was that one? That should be hot.
spots. So it's carrying down generations, which I think is very, very cool.
And again, like you said, Rob, you can't argue with the results. I mean, Silvana, if not for the wall that is Rachel Holman, could easily be the number one team in the world, but she's a very clear number two right now. And even looking at Yannick Schwaller, you know, finally got that monkey off his back and won that last slam in Saskatoon.
Well, that's good. Pretty
World
big bucket.
Championship silver medalist last year. So, you know, they're getting on a little bit of a roll. They may be looking to take that final step up the world podium come March.
I think you have to worry about him at the Olympics.
Absolutely. You're right, even before then.
Knife it. Whoa.
That Olympic men's competition is hard to handicap now because of the success. You've got Mowat, you've got Schwaller, you've got Edine, who won the Euros, which is kind of him ringing the bell that, hey, I'm not done yet, and I have a gold medal of my own. I wouldn't mind another one. And then you've got Jacobs, right? So
Retornaz, who's had a
playing
bit of
at home.
Yeah, playing at home, and he's maybe not had the season he's hoped for maybe the last year and a half, but you know, he's a guy that he can always turn it up in a big moment.
Yeah, he's got two monsters sweeping for him.
I think it's very difficult to predict what's going to happen on the men's side.
I want to see you set the odds on that one, my friend.
I'm hoping the women's will be a little bit easier if Rachel can keep doing what she's doing. But even I mean, over there, if you want to call it a fight for silver, it's not an easy one for the rest of the medals. And you know, the Olympic pressure, that they talk about it, and I think it is a real thing. We've seen in the past some very, very good teams who looked like they're on the way to doing something great. That pressure is so huge, and we've seen cracks before, and we've seen people rise to the challenge.
Well,
so I think it's
going
to
be
be
winning the gold medal. I mean, you know, she was on the outside looking in until she had a better LSD and was able to sneak in, and
I believe knocked off Anna Hasselborg in the semi and Silvana in the final, if I remember correctly. So a couple heavy draws here in this feature to the back of the rings gives the opportunity for Aaron Benning on his first to sink one around this center guard.
Line's good. Oh, red girl.
Sweeper's indicating
Straight,
it might be
straight.
a little on the heavy
Whoa,
side,
whoa,
so
whoa, whoa. Girl.
this is where we like to see a plan B call by Owen. So it's going to come right back down to that back yellow.
That's the kind of plan B you see a lot, especially at this level, but at every level. When you get those rocks at the back of the rings in your mind, and you know locking one down there is totally fine, takes away those two yellow stones from the Swiss's chances, but Definitely would have loved to see that maybe top 4 or top 8 buried if he could.
He's not taking as much ice as we did.
Yeah, we can definitely get away with a little less.
Well, that was up and it curled pretty close to where we wanted it to. Maybe a little bit less.
That was a good. That felt like a good throw.
Yeah, I think your line was good.
It's getting very quick in that pass.
Looks pretty close.
Tori, I think they were looking to put this in the top 4, but this is a little strong again, too.
Gonna build the Great Wall of China back there right now. This one's gonna settle down, back button.
I mean, right on it, tiny bump.
Try to bump it just to get shot.
But not, like here is really
Caught
good
in
too.
between maybe a little bit on that. You'd love for that to be top 4, as you mentioned, buried if you can. I think the plan B there is to try to go right back to the red and lock it on, leaving it sort of halfway in between, especially with it being, looks like it might be covering the pin, so Team Benning might have to move it an inch. But if you could ever just tap it an inch or two and stay slightly on the high side, it's a really good steal opportunity.
Aaron Benning, his last here in the second.
This one maybe looking a little solid again.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Straight.
Now it's starting to curl.
Line's good.
Whoa, easy.
All the way.
Sweeper's liking the weight. Looks like it might get that little bump.
Didn't even enough room.
That might be horrible, no? That looks really bad.
Very makeable shot for one. There's definitely the space where you could just pick it out of the way and take your single. I'm having trouble seeing it for 2. Probably have to hit close to a half rock to get it clean by that back yellow, and I'm not sure if he can hold the shooter.
Yeah, that's a good point. Probably have to curl it more.
Final shot here for Nathan Dryborough in the second, an outside chance at 2. Trying to
look pretty good.
Yeah, he's going to get a good piece of it. Is it going to be enough? He moves the red, and perfect weight holds the shooter. Spectacular weight control there by Nathan Dryborough. Removes the bending stone and holds around for his second point. So he now takes his first lead of the game after 2 ends. We're going to take a quick break, but Team Benning will have to come back from a 1-point deficit with the hammer.
Hey, curling fans, I'm standing here in front of Sheet Stew here at the High Park Club, and I just want to let you know that I'm so excited to sponsor the sport of curling, to help curling out. So you can go to stewcurls.com, see all my events, see the Stew Sell series, but you know what? I also sell real estate as well. So you need to buy a house, list a house, condo, rental, business. Look, give me Stu a call.
Then they can do that better.
Picking up action here at the start of the third. Lead stones for the team out of Morges is Antoine Beauvais. And Tori, that last shot there by Nathan Dryber, I know people love to see the high hard one, love to see rocks move, but too early to say maybe shot of the tournament that we saw there. Just a nice little bit of touch on ice that has been fooling a lot of teams, especially in that spot. Maybe not the flashiest shot you're going to see, but very impressive nonetheless.
I think especially on this sheet too. I mean, we've heard teams saying how tricky the ice is, and just to be able to manage a rock that well as a team it's been by far, so far this event, the best shot that we've seen in terms of a team shot.
Right, and I think it's a testament, you know, he threw the perfect weight. And I think we've seen that the miss from a lot of teams has been to overthrow something like that, maybe get a little bit full, but I do think you have room to work with the line as long as your weight is perfect. And we saw there they were sweeping it most of the way for curl, but the weight was perfect, so it gets there. They are able to hit what they needed that stone and still stick around. So that last stone after Team Benning wrecked on the center guard had to go back. Good opportunity to talk about the rules of play here for the round robin. 8 ends of action. If tied after 8 ends, it goes to a draw to the button for the win in round robin. Once we get to the playoffs, they will play a full extra end. 5 rock guard rule and the no tick rule is in effect.
This is okay too. Play for this.
No time clocks on the games. However, there is a 2-hour, 5-minute time limit from the start of the game that you have to complete 7. So long as you start your 8th end by that time, you can finish the game. But 2 hours, 5 minutes should be plenty of time. We've seen it affect a couple games, Tori, but for the most part, pace of play has been very good so far this week.
Yeah, the first one I saw with Tori was a timeout. He was going at a pretty good clip, then all of a sudden they ran into a lot of discussion and ate up the time.
And you see that a lot at any level. You get into a couple junky ends. It's not really like one end, but you spend a minute here and a minute there talking about a shot, and it can really sneak up on you fast. Decent bounce back shot there by Jacob Piernick, a second-year electrical apprentice out of Ottawa. And we talked about that fantastic shot by Nathan last end. Nathan with plenty of experience himself. I was talking to his dad/coach before the game, and Nathan was the Youth Olympic skip for Switzerland at the 2024 Youth Olympics. He won bronze there in Korea, and he actually competed at the first ever World Under-21 Mixed Doubles Championships, where they lost the quarterfinal. So plenty of international experience already. Now finds himself here playing in Canada. And I think at the end of the day, that's really what is such a big prize for whoever ends up winning this event and getting that trip to Switzerland. Is it a world championship? No. But you get a jersey. It has a maple leaf on it. You're representing your country in an international event. You get to experience what it's like to, hop on an 8 or 9 hour flight and then have to compete afterwards. It's something that you carry with you. And we've heard from previous winners about how it's sort of one of their favorite experiences, how it's something they remember for the rest of their lives. We've heard that from the likes of Craig Saville and Brent Lang. And, even on the Swiss side, Silvana Tiranzoni was a Swiss representative who came and played in this event. And she speaks fondly of this event as well when asked about it. So I think it's just a good jumping off point for a lot of these young careers, whoever is able to attain it.
Well, the more opportunity you get to travel and see other styles and see other types of ice, it's only going to benefit you.
Mm-hmm.
So a couple good shots just recently made. Team Benning making a nice run back. Clear 2 of the yellow stones and rolling to a corner guard. And then Team Morges just replacing that center guard.
Hard, go.
Also just slightly over curling, so not able to catch anything in the rings.
So Team Morges still sitting the shot stone and throwing. They'll try to cap off this yellow stone with a guard. And a very nice guard there made by Liam Dryborough. Again, we wanted to keep everyone updated on all the line scores. And as we look across the sheets of play, starting with sheet 1, it is a 5-0 lead for Team Regan over Team Chabot. Regan starting off with a 4-ender and then a steal of 1 in the second. Over on sheet 2, they have completed their second end of play, but have yet to post their score. It was a single point for McDougall in the first. Sheet 3, back-to-back scores by our Swiss women's team. A single followed by a steal has them out to a 2-0 lead. Of course, our feature once again is 2-1 for Team Morges. Over on sheet 5, it is Caitlin Langford out to an early lead after scoring a single in the first. A big steal of 3 in the second end has her out to a 4-0 lead. Sheet 6, consecutive steals by Team Furlan has her up 2-0 over Stapera. Sheet 7, Radia takes a deuce in the second end to open scoring in that one. And finally over on sheet A, traded singles has them tied 1-1 between Lanoy and Beamans. And another replaced guard there by Liam Dryborough. If you're Team Benning, you need to move that stone off of the top of the forefoot whenever you can.
This might be our best chance, though.
And there's the discussion point. At some point, you sort of flip the switch and you want to try and get in there before your opponents. And if you make a good draw, could set up your deuce that way. I thought this might be still one shot a bit too early, but I don't think it's necessarily a wrong call on your vices last. Owen McTavish, a grade 10 student in the Kitchener-Waterloo area.
Hard line. Line's good.
We've seen his older brother, Tyler McTavish, skipping his own squad here to an undefeated record so far.
Hard.
Sweepers working on this one. They'll get it to the top 8 foot, but not quite far enough, it looks like, to get shot. Useful angle, though, as it sits right now. I think the red is accessible enough to raise it onto that yellow stone.
You can see our Swiss team just talking about throwing up a guard and where exactly they want that rock to end up to take away that angle, or an opportunity for Team Benning to make a play on that red one just thrown by Owen.
What?
Nathan Dryborough with his first here in the third end.
Whoa. Done. Jung. Jung. Jung.
Last little bit of curl out of that stone looks to have done the job.
Also taking away a draw path, it looks like. We haven't seen a rock be wider than that stone and curl back into the 4 foot. So kind of a really great spot.
Aaron Benning will need to open this up somehow. There are a few run back options. That is a lonely yellow stone in there, so if he could ever get it moving.
I don't know if this is good too, but I'm kind of seeing this. Worst case, you straight feel it, just miss it on the high side. Here.
So looks like running back the yellow stone on the center line. You have a couple options with it. I think the initial call is to run it back across the face of the red stone, try to cut that red back into the shot rock, top 4. Of course, with the intern here, if it ever starts to over curl, you could change the call and maybe run it back onto the yellow. But it looks like whether it came from the bench or the front end who weren't sure, we're going to have a timeout here for Team Benning, and we're going to get our first look at their coach, Brian Benning. And I think maybe just a little bit of concern because you're running back this yellow stone. Love to run it into the side of the red, but if you ever miss just by a hair and run it into the red, things can get very ugly. So probably just wants to make sure that everyone has the same thoughts in mind, and maybe there's a better option, but we'll listen in.
Just wondering if it makes sense to make a play on one of our reds.
Oh, red.
Play the yellow, we're jamming for sure in the back, aren't we? And we might take out our own red to go and just through.
Well, I was trying to flip the red there.
What's that?
Well,
Red, you can actually make the
what if we double peel?
or double peel the red yellow.
Because if we double peel the yellows, we can't guard both.
Try the high red, there's options. Like you can actually make the red yellow.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
And or we can double peel the reds and give
But
yourself
like,
outside the sheet, right?
you gonna throw a lot of weight at that? Probably not. Like normal. Normal.
Don't have to throw peel weight either, right? But
At
I'm just
what?
thinking, like, if you play
The long red.
try to make the yellow. Try to make it back. But you can actually make the red yellow. Right?
I like peel.
Or peel. That's fine. Whatever weight.
I like peel, you get the guard.
They get the red yellow, and then you're not driving the yellow into the house, which could real bad. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, you're just trying to look good for the commentators.
Okay. Yeah, exactly.
Red on the left side.
I will call
Right
it.
side of the screen. Not that one. Is there enough on that? Can you see enough of that one? Because I think you got a really good look at that. Is it all
You
there?
probably have about like 2/3.
Just give me center
You like
off.
that
Maybe
one going through
3/4.
the hole? No?
Center off. But
It
full.
might just be there.
Yeah.
If you'd have to paper by the red. I don't mind this high red one either. Looks like the call is to take this redstone up near the hog line, run it straight back onto the yellow stone, but you have a
fall
couple
back in here.
secondary options. If it curls up, could run it straight back on the nose, peel off this red one, hit it a hair on the high side, you run it into this yellow near the center line, and double peel that way and really open up the center of the rings for yourself.
So moving granite.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Would love to hit this just a hair on the high side.
Yes, yes. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
He's going to get one. Watch this red
Oh.
one coming back.
Oh, so close.
So it just flies by the yellow, but could have had some great results. Either way, going to be very happy with that. I think if your team Dryborough, you're just going to see them guard up this yellow stone, and there may be a wide in-turn draw now to the forefoot that could score you your single point.
I like trying to guess how much is going to curl out there.
I think anywhere from that WFG logo on the left-hand side to the top of the 12 is where they want to put it.
And because that right side is so blocked up, you have so much space to work with. You could even just throw this right over the hog line. As long as you get it in that line that blocks the path to the yellow, it's going to be job done. Although I agree, if you could ever put it between the WFG and the house, guarding the left half of that yellow, you could take away a good piece of the draw path too. Final stone here for Nathan Dryborough. Maybe a little bit heavy. Might have done the job though. Looks to be a piece buried behind that center guard.
Yeah, if you ever do.
They have enough room to get it by that red.
They're taking a look. I'm sitting right behind the hack right now.
Can this go wrong?
I think there is. I think if you play it very close to that center guard,
it should be, but
you can't catch enough of the yellow to make maybe the straight yellow double, but it's very risky.
Yeah, let's hope that doesn't happen. Yeah. I mean, if you want to make sure it isn't curved, let's just take here then, just to make sure we don't give up a ton.
This is this is a call, Tori. Very aggressive. I
Now if we hit it into that yellow, it doesn't roll too
don't mind it all that much because I don't really see much else. There's no easy draw in for one. You just have to be very careful.
I kind of like
You hit this angle runner a little bit thin into that yellow top 12, and you could bring a steal of 2 into play. Of course, the chance for 3 is there, so they appear to believe it's worth the risk. I don't really see much else, though, so...
Oh, they didn't throw this wide on their last one. I think they'll still have a pretty good idea how it's going to run.
Keep an eye. It tends to track out here. The final stone for Aaron Benning going for 3.
Yep. Hard.
Looks to be close. He's going to hit it on the outside and send it in. Oh. Just runs it by the shot. Stone takes out his back one, but it's going to be a steal of 1. And as we just look at the replay in our booth, missed it by maybe the width of a sheet of paper. So close to at least getting his deuce, but it goes up on the board as a steal of 1. A fantastic try there for Aaron Benning. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and it's a 2-point lead for the Swiss after 3.
Peace of mind, the life you want, and financial independence. At World Financial Group, we believe your path to any of these goals is paved by financial knowledge. That's why our agents spend every day empowering individuals and families of all backgrounds with the knowledge to create the life they want. No matter your financial goals, WFG can help you own your future. Visit worldfinancialgroup.com to learn more.
So at the end of the day, picking up play here in the fourth, it could have been a big swing in Aaron Benning's favor, but as it is, misses it by quarter inch, maybe even less. Goes up as a steal for the Swiss team out of Morges. They now have a 3-1 lead over Team Benning, but Team Benning retains the hammer here in the fourth end.
Just a 2, line's good.
And I think if you're Team Benning, you're not too upset that you had the opportunity for multiple points, but maybe just needs to be a bit more cautious of letting the front of the rings be so jumbled up like they became last end, and they weren't able to make too many plays actually into the rings to try and deal with the Swiss shot rock.
Yeah, they started that end when trying to clear the front by making a run back and rolling to a corner guard, which was a great shot, but after that they just weren't able to string enough together in a row to keep that front open to give themselves an easy shot. Swiss rock curling just to get to the center line.
All credit to Antoine Beauvais. He's curling a very good game so far. Every end has been set up phenomenally well for the Swiss.
Little change of pace here from Aaron Benning, choosing to not go around his corner guard and to freeze on the one on the 4-foot. That 4-foot rock just being in such a good spot.
Line's good.
I find this is a bit more of the
Line's good.
cautious approach, if you will. There's still a very clear path to 2 playing this way. You might see some teams where they get down a lot more, or if it's later in the game, they'll send this second rock behind their own corner guard. But a good freeze here can lead to good things, and that's an excellent shot there for Jacob Piernick. This Aaron Benning team still a bit on the younger side. It's their first year together as the 4 of them. Aaron and Jacob have played together for 3 years. And Owen and Cameron have play U18s together currently. So they have plenty of experience together, but maybe not as a full foursome, this being their first year.
I think 3 of the 4 of them are still at the U18 age group.
Yeah, Aaron, Owen, and Cameron have all qualified for U18 provincials coming up.
I always love to see U18s playing up in the junior age group just to gain a little more experience and play tougher teams, right? That's how you learn.
Well, and Team Benning, if I recall correctly, actually won the U18 boys division of this event last year, so they, as part of that, earned their free entry into the event this year, so building a bit of a legacy for themselves.
That was a great shot.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm sure they're, maybe it's a bit unfortunate that they moved those stones down the center, but they're going to be very happy that they got rid of those center guards. Now everything's wide open. They still have their corner and can play for a 2.
And we're seeing the Swiss, I believe the call was just to nose it, so grouping their own stones. So even keeping the blank on the table by maybe providing a double opportunity. This one really curling.
Board. Yep, straight. Whoa, 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 straight, whoa, cool. Big hole, yep.
Maybe just going to get caught in between here. Does roll. Rob, is it mostly buried?
It looks like it's mostly buried.
Okay, so very well done, actually. Wasn't sure if he was trying to roll behind the corner or maybe just in front of the yellow, but gets a good result out of it.
I called a roll, I guess. Just kept going.
Swiss team going to play the chase. Have a couple options here. You're not worried about peeling the guard. More than 5 rocks have been thrown, so bring your sweepers into play here. If it ends up over curling and getting the guard, that's fine.
Need the curl.
Making contact, but doesn't quite remove it from the rings.
I think that's perfect weight thrown there by Noe Kuhn. Fortunately, he just didn't get that last little bit of curl he needed to remove the red stone. Still sits 2, however. So Owen McTavish looking for the double and the roll behind the corner.
Yep, yep. Hard. Hard. Whoa. Yep, yep.
Looks very close.
And makes the double.
Well done.
Nice.
This is a great shot by Owen. And a great sweep there by the front end.
Best part about it all is it's not even that it's a good shot to try and set up the 2. It could possibly even set up more with such a perfect roll behind the corner. It's like the Swiss aren't going to play around too much. They don't want to risk bringing the 3 into play, so they will just hit the open stone. This is that tricky spot you've talked about, Rob, out wide.
And got the roll and his shot.
That is impressive. Stays dead buried around the guard. Still leaves the freeze opportunity, but making things way tougher for Team Benning than they could have been.
Line's good. A little tight. Yep, line. Where? Yep, yep. Hard.
Super's thinking this
Yes.
is close.
Hard. Whoa, whoa. Whoa.
It's a little bit of an under curl.
That didn't work how I wanted it to. Needed to curl way early.
We just had to curl, or had to be like
Yep. That is you want. Go.
They're rolling out. You have to try to sweep this out.
Love some roll on this. I think it too much.
So second opportunity now for Team Benning to make this freeze.
That's a lot harder now. Let's try to place it here.
I think maybe just a little bit too much weight by Nathan. A little bit more than they were looking for. Doesn't quite get the curl. Discussion with his sweepers about what exactly they want to see. That's so important. They just saw Owen McTavish's, so they should have a good idea of how this spot's going to run.
Pull tight. Straight. Straight.
Hard, curling
straight.
early.
Got to hold it.
Hard. Hard.
That guard comes into play.
Hard. Roll it, roll it, roll it.
They're going to clunk it.
Unfortunately, it doesn't spin in, so they're likely not going to get another opportunity at that yellow. Looks like the discussion here, Tori, they're talking about maybe drawing around the red. I guess the only thing that would maybe worry you is if you somehow went a hair deep and left the run back double, but
No, they like the wave. They said wave was fine.
Oh yeah, but it's probably like top
at this
8
level,
or
that's not as
T-line maybe, max.
automatic a shot as maybe you
top four.
see at the higher levels of the game, so I don't think that's necessarily all that risky.
No, and if you put it
Yeah, it's
anywhere,
probably Biden top 4.
sorry, excuse me. If you put it anywhere kind of in the top of the forefoot, like it's a great opportunity to really put the pressure on.
So they've talked themselves into it,
Yeah.
and Nathan Dryborough will try to draw around this
And
red
they might
stone.
leave you a run double. If it's easy, we'll play.
See
it,
if I
but
can
like-
get a time on this. We've been seeing
Well, if they go like
something
T-line
close
and
to
it's like a nose run double, then
16 seconds at best.
throw with like normal if even. Chance of that happening slim. but-
Speed should still be holding up quite well, so it should be around that 15.5 to 16 seconds, hog to hog. Sweepers seem to like it. Now it's all about the line. 15.5 should be close.
Got to get it by.
Oh, and it was perfect. I think just maybe misjudged the line a little bit. We've seen that spot, Rob, quite a bit where it tracks, and as soon as it starts to get across that center line, especially to the right-hand side as we look at it, seems to just have that little extra jump, and it starts to curl, and I think they just got caught on that a little bit. At about the hog line, he was still touching the center line, so it didn't really look all too bad till that final jump.
I think that's been the case on this sheet all week, though. Is that you've got to really watch it on the center line, because when it moves off, it takes off.
Aaron Benning now with a
Line's good.
less pressure
Straight,
full shot
straight.
on his last. Needs a good piece of the 8-foot for his single.
Hard straight.
This one's starting to curl early, though. Sweepers need to get it by that yellow,
Is the weight there?
Yeah.
and it's not as they kick it away. So just a little light there from Aaron leads to a steal of one more for the Swiss. Consecutive steals here to finish off the first half has them up to a 4-1 lead. And we'll take our fourth and break. When we get back, Team Benning will get another chance.
Hey, Stu Sells Teams followers. I'm at my brand new listing here at 60 Indian Grove, and I'm so blown away I have fallen over. And I can't take my eyes off this gorgeous, original, molded ceiling that is absolutely stunning. We are bringing this 1911 Grand Estate to market, and it is going to blow your mind. Let me get up and show you what I'm talking about. Look at this woodwork. When they did the renos, they actually took all this wood down, they sent it to Montreal, had it professionally refinished and stained, and they reinstalled it. Like, It is absolutely breathtaking. The pocket doors, the lead glass French doors. It's so unique, this home. It is a grand old estate. The top third floor is a beautiful prime retreat with big closets, its own bathroom, soaker tub, walk out to a balcony. You go to the second floor, 3 large bedrooms, wraparound office, floor to ceiling windows, gorgeous view. And then this is like entertaining central. Actually, the Oscar-winning film JFK was filmed in this living room. It's had multiple movies, commercials, and then the dining room is so grand, and the parlor, and oh my God, there's so much to tell you about this amazing home. You gotta come and see it. And you know the extra bonus? Corner lot, laneway housing potential, single car garage, and a full separate legal 1-bedroom apartment in the basement you can rent out. So look, we're right in the heart of Ronsee's High Park. You can walk to the park, it's just down the road. Great shops, great cafes. It's such a beautiful, stately home that you have to come look at it. So go to stusells.ca, see all the photos, the videos, the virtual tour, and give me Stu a call for a personal tour.
Peace of mind, the life you want, and financial independence. At World Financial Group, we believe your path to any of these goals is paved by financial knowledge. That's why our agents spend every day empowering individuals and families of all backgrounds with the knowledge to create the life they want. No matter your financial goals, WFG can help you own your future. Visit worldfinancialgroup.com to learn more.
I've stood at the pinnacle of curling and battled in the most intense games.
Out on the ice, there's no room for compromise.
And when the pressure's on, every millimeter counts.
It's not just a game.
It's about maximizing performance,
Pushing limits.
Seizing victory.
When victory hangs in the balance,
I know what I'm relying on.
it's a gold line.
It's a gold line.
It's a gold line.
And it's the choice of champions.
But we don't want to get a stole. Like a steal is scary. If they score, it's probably just game. Or we're going to need like a steal or two or something like that.
And we pick up action here in the second half of this game. It is a 4-1 lead for Team Morges. We talk a lot about the legacy of this event, and a lot of teams have played on both sides of it coming here from Switzerland, and we have an excellent photo here that we dug up from the archives. That is the Swiss team that we currently see with Team Morges, with the Canadian representatives who went to Switzerland. I believe this was 2 or 3 years ago. So they played in the Swiss Cup for a number of years and had the opportunity to play against Team Canada a few years ago. Now they have the chance to give back, won their Swiss Cup, and are now over here filling that role on the other side of things. So
they've grown.
Yeah. They certainly look like they've added at least
they've added
maybe a foot in a place here and there, but so that is on the right, Nathan Dryborough, Liam Dryborough, second from the right, and they've put in a fantastic amount of work to earn themselves back to get this trip to Canada and see the other side of things. So fantastic legacy that this event has been creating recently. I know this event, the Canadian Junior Cup, used to be called I believe it was the Sun Life Junior Bonspiel originally, and then TCAs for a long time. Since about 1980, this event has been happening, and for pretty much since its inception, had the trip to Switzerland. There was a span of, I'd argue, possibly 5 to 10 years where the trip was no longer happening, but great work by Grant Cowan and the organizers here to bring it back a handful of years ago and start building that legacy once again. Taking a look here now as we go into the 5th end
Let's
of play.
No, I don't think so.
Decent setup by
Back 8, back
Antoine
12.
Beauvais. That second Yellowstone, though, just slipping into the rings. So it would be accessible for Team Benning, but they've decided to ignore it and try to make this draw.
Oh, we gotta hope. Is that buried? I think so. I mean, guard's pretty, yeah. They'll be able to get it out if you want to. Probably the intern.
Noe Kuhn tossing up
I know he
the
just hit and roll off the
guard there for the Swiss.
Unless he sees like a triple.
Half decent draw by Jacob Purnick to get around that corner guard on his lasso. Is the opportunity here to open things up. Would love to get all 3 yellows moving. Cameron Wright, a grade 11 student here in Ontario.
Yep. Whoa.
Gonna make contact with 2 of them, but it just clips that second Yellowstone over. Bit unfortunate because I think that may line up the yellows into that back red.
Liam going to go down and take a look at this.
Well, if
only halfway.
now he's making his way back. I was gonna say, if those yellows do happen to be lined up onto the back red, I don't even mind just peeling the guard, because there's no way for Team Benning to make the double. Now they would likely be able to hit them one at a time, but you'd likely have an open chance at a double later. Decided to chase the back one though with hack weight. This is another spot that tends to run a little bit straighter if you get a little wide.
You can see big scrub here to try to get it to curl.
They've got a good piece of it.
Yeah, there we go.
Turned
That
out
was,
all right.
that was excellent. Halfway down, that looked like it was in outer space a little bit, but they got it to start to curl and get onto that red stone and actually stick around. Fortunately, though, chasing that back stone does leave a Yellowstone in the back of the ring. So now Team Benning, if they're able to make this draw around the corner, that's a rock that you have to be worried about a jam possibility for the rest of the end.
Yeah, that's running straight down the line now.
See.
I think that's just the difference on when you start on the sweep. We saw the front ender, Owen and Jacob go on that rock pretty early, and it kept it on that line that little bit longer. It didn't get the same chance to curl.
Okay.
That's what makes
That's the side we
sweeping
open on.
so hard sometimes.
That's
You
the
know, it's
side
not
we peeking
just,
out.
well, if it's light, you sweep, and if it's not light, you don't sweep. Sometimes, especially on the straighter ice conditions like we've seen this week, you always have to be cognizant of the line. Now, if you happen to be throwing down the center line, you usually have a pretty good idea of where you are, but hitting a rock early can really kill the line, even if it means it's going to get far enough to where you want. Liam Dryborough alongside Noe and Nathan. I was speaking to Nathan and Liam's dad before the event, and they are all not quite university students. I believe Switzerland has a bit of a pre-university sort of thing, kind of between high school before you end up going to university. So they're getting ready to go to university in the next coming years, but for now I've been putting a lot of time and effort into curling.
Yeah.
And that redstone does end up jamming at the back, but looks like it is third shot. And as we see the overhead there, yes, it is yellow sitting two, but that redstone at the back, currently third shot. So Team Benning trying to make the hit and roll behind the corner.
This one just, again,
Whoa,
jumped
straight.
the rock pretty early, so hanging a little bit longer.
Roll it.
Trying to go for the plan B to roll the other way.
And just got caught in between. Not sure if they really needed to switch the call there. They definitely weren't going to get the roll behind the corner, but I thought if they kept trying to curl it, at least would have missed that back one and kept two reds in play.
Out of my hand? I don't know. Oh, at the end, I think we were trying to roll under the stagger.
Try and look at the roll. That is two yellows.
Perfect roll, and not even enough just to roll behind the yellows, but rolls almost over rolls it so that the stagger is protecting his own yellow stone. That is very precise.
Normal?
See Owen McTavish try and make a double on two of those yellows.
Whoa! Whoa!
We'll just lose that second yellow at the side.
Good.
Le truc, c'est que si toi tu fais ça, lui il va faire ça.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking we do the double. My first one is not curl. Or we jumped on it early and it just stayed straight.
Even roll out, c'est pas mauvais. Ça va aussi.
I thought I threw it pretty good.
Love to remove this red stone. Stick around somewhere in the rings.
Go! 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 Whoa! Whoa! Whoa!
Smaller the roll, the better, I would imagine, and it's a very nice spot. I know it doesn't seem. I know it seems like they had a lot of space to go to, but there were a couple spots that could cause you some issues if you half bury around the corner guard and let Team Benning get around it. Where that yellow rolled to, though, anywhere Team Benning goes, it's going to be a very short run back to get rid of.
Exactly.
Benning a little wide out of the hand. You could see that rock starting to drift back, so I think just a little bit of outward motion.
Whoa.
And just able to nose it. So wide open hit here for Nathan Drybera. I think he'll be looking for a little bit more, though. You make a nice hit and roll to the top of the button and put some pressure on Aaron Benning to make a double.
You said it's all amount bigger than you normally do. They hit and roll under, they might leave you a blank, like a slash shovel blank. Do we take it one or do we try the blank? I mean, there's that.
To the outside, you get the inside now. It's up to the weight control for Benning.
We saw last end, Aaron Benning came up a little bit light on his draw, so he'll want to make that adjustment here. Although taking a long look at things, is he possibly looking at maybe you can get the blank if you make the double? Already down 3 points, though. I mean, you'd hate to go down more, and that's a very precise shot.
I think he's saying just draw. You can just try to steal.
The only problem is you're going to surrender the hammer if you take one. If you're forced.
We can just take our one. You can draw or you can hit and roll. Do we ever? No. If you want to try them.
Aaron really liking that double and blank.
Keeps looking at it.
He's motioned it several times.
I mean, the nice part about it is it doesn't really look like a crazy double. It's a pretty natural, maybe a little bit thinner than a half rock, and if you do happen to make it, the rock's going to be spinning so much that there's a good chance it spins out for the blank, but it's a tough situation. I think if you knew you were going to make the double for the blank, I think you take it, but it's such a tricky shot, and drawing for one isn't all that enticing either, going down two without.
Yeah, it's thin half.
So gutsy call here for Aaron Benning, looking for the blank.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
A little wide out of the hand. Is he gonna get anything? And no.
Disaster.
Yeah, took a good crack at it, but just got a little wide out of the hand, and it sails by. So it's a steal of two for Team Morges, who now holds a 6-1 lead, and looks like we're still going to continue. So we're going to take a little break, and when we come back, we'll start off with our sixth end of play.
Hey, curling fans, I'm standing here in front of Sheet Stew here at the High Park Club, and I just want to let you know that I'm so excited to sponsor the sport of curling, to help curling out. So you can go to stewcurls.com, see all my events, see the Stew Sell series, but you know what? I also sell real estate as well. So you need to buy a house, list a house, condo, rental, business. Look, give me Stu a call.
Well, we don't go around. I think we. Well, they're gonna go in. I think we just. I mean, it curls enough on the outturn that we can try manufacturing something.
Well, curling really is a game of inches, isn't it, Tori? And maybe a game of millimeters if you're Team Benning today. He came so close to 2 or 3 points in the third, takes on that double attempt, but probably not all that bad a throw, just an inch full, and it just does not come back for you. The scoreboard may say 6-1, but I think Team Benning has had the opportunity to make it look a lot different. Now, all credit to the Swiss, who have been playing very well as well, to put the pressure on Team Benning. But I'm sure Aaron would like to have a shot or two back this game.
Scott curl. Well, we don't want to touch it. It's done. Yeah, I think it's okay.
You just take a look at the last 3 ends, too. In end 3, that was that angle. It could have been for 3. In 4, just light on a draw. And then when you get to 5, he was looking for that double. Just as you said, all 3 of them. 3 of those ends, and they cost you.
So while we have the opportunity, why don't we take a quick look around the rings once again. Starting over on sheet 1. Team Reagan has pulled themselves out to an 8-1 lead after 5 ends, after scoring 2 in that last. So they have full control over that one. Going over to the McDougall-Fisher game on sheet 2. McDougall currently holding on to a 4-2 lead. Looks like they've just finished their 5th end of play, so we'll keep an eye if they, or excuse me, they do still have a few rocks to come. So 4-2 for McDougall. Over on sheet 3, Team Penston back with a vengeance after going down 2-0 early, giving up a steal in the second. They score 3 in the third and follow it up with a steal of 2 in the fourth. They lead 5-2 in their 5th end of play. Sheet 5, Team Hayward has just scored a single in the 5th end, so they currently are down 5-4. Team Langford with the hammer in 6. Moving over to sheet 6, we have the close matchup between Furlan and Stepera. After going out, after opening the game 2-0, Stepera cracked a 3 in the 3rd and forced Furlan in the 5th, so they're tied 3-3. Sheet 7, it's been a good game for Radia so far. A steal of 2 in the 3rd and another 2 in the 5th has them out 6-3. And finally over on sheet A, it's been all Team Lanois so far as they hold on to a 5-1 lead over the undefeated Team Beemans.
Where are we going?
Pretty good setup here if you're Team Benning. Those 2 rocks in the back of the 8-foot are definitely not the Swiss team's friends. It's a lot of jam opportunities. So you'd love to make a nice little draw into the full 8 or maybe even bite the 4-foot buried around this guard.
Line's good. Whoa.
Back 4.
It hasn't moved an inch.
Back 8.
Come down. Back 4.
That to curl a little more. It will get just past the tee line, but there is a spot where they can bump it through if they decide, but it looks like Trevor is just going to try to clean up the front.
Yeah, and with a 4-point lead, you don't want to make things too complicated for yourself. With where that redstone is, it should be easily removable later, so they're going to spend the time cleaning up the front right now. And very nicely done.
Yeah.
Scrap the curl. Start knifing it. 3.
Cameron Wright with his 2nd stone.
Tight. Whoa. Real tight. Whoa. Yep.
And with a 5-point deficit, Tori, what's the path to success here if you're Team Benning? Obviously, in an ideal world, I think you want to try and take 3 this end if you can find a way, and then I guess You either steal to tie the game and go to a draw, or force and take another 3 and 8. I think either way, you're going to need a 3 somewhere along the way. So we'll see if they maybe find a way to take a little bit more of an aggressive approach this end when they can.
Yeah, and there's not too many rocks right now helping them in the rings. They got a couple rocks in the front of the house to hide behind, but I think we can just imagine the team Dryborough is just going to remove all those as soon as they can. Their red rock on the back of the forefoot. Pocket's a little too big behind it to really get any jam opportunities.
And so here's a bit of an opportunity. That last peel there jams in on their own yellow, but then continues to spin up and out the other side of the corner guard. So really opens the path to get around this corner guard for Owen McTavish. And I think this is your way to try and get 3 this end. You draw around this corner. The Swiss will likely just hit the open stone. You draw another one around the corner, and then you're hoping for maybe a small miss along the way that you can capitalize on.
Little push.
Line's good. Line's good. Got curl. Straight, straight, straight.
Line seems to be good here.
Hard, curl now. Hard. Hard, bury it, bury it, bury it.
Just not getting a lot of finish on that side with the draws, and we noticed that in our morning game with the women's game. But like you said, Matt, the Swiss team here just gonna hit that red rock.
Pretty good.
I think with this turn, they might be trying to lose one of their yellows as well if they can spin it off the side of
I'm probably gonna be freezing the back.
the one on the right as we're looking at it.
I'm surprised they're not checking feel at this.
So this one tracking a little bit wide. Should be enough to get it out, but might move a yellow stone. Does just tick it on the way by and rolls too far. So currently red sitting, yellow still sitting shot stone at the back of the 8-foot there.
Just freeze perfectly, okay.
Or here. I like this.
Oh, yeah.
It's like back T-line.
Back 8. Similar. Low push.
Line's good.
Line's good.
Probably be back T-line, wait. Whoa.
So trying to
Whoa.
lock on a corner freeze on this wider yellow stone. Needs to be very precise. We think it's a little hot.
More bounce.
A very good attempt there by Owen McTavish, but unfortunately, with that little bounce off, the Swiss are going to be able to make the hit. I think with a perfect nose hit, may be sitting 2.
It's probably the right call. Too much ice? Or a little up. Way was pretty close.
Nathan Dryborough with his first stone here in the 6th end of play. wants to remove this red stone and stay on the nose. Gets a slight roll to the inside to ensure that he is sitting 2.
Yeah, build a wall. Back 8, back 12, wait.
Now, if you ever tap this yellow stone a foot or two, it's quite the wall, and it would be very difficult to remove any of the red stones.
This is a great call by Aaron Benning.
Yeah, recognizing that you're only going to be sitting 1, but with no real way for the Swiss to remove the red stone, if you make this perfect, chance for 3 is always going to be there. Aaron Benning with his first. Calls a little heavy early.
Line's good. Oh. Line's good.
Broom on again.
Straight. Straight.
It's all about getting the line right.
Straight,
you have
hard.
a little bit of room to work with the weight.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
No, that's separation.
That's pretty much exactly where they wanted to tap that for line, maybe just a foot or two too far.
Yeah.
So there is going to be enough room here to get rid of this 7 rock.
Line was perfect.
Probably in all likelihood, you'll always leave a double for 2, but with a 6-point lead, the Swiss are going to be happy to concede just a deuce.
If they nose it, you're going to have to make like a triple. But there won't really be one. If they nose it, you might gotta go like thin. Thin this way? No, probably not. You gotta go thin that way. Because we need 3 here.
Yeah,
If we get 2, we probably keep on playing. Steal a 2, steal a 1. It's possible.
Comme ça. Un petit roll inside, ça c'est bon.
I think he made it.
Go! Go! Whoa! Whoa! Gee!
So you're going to get a bit of a roll. Rolls to the center line, but should be a
Nose?
pretty much a nose hit for 2. Just needs to make contact with that back yellow on the way by.
Normal, one of the 2.
Il va faire le double, hein?
I like control,
Je
yeah.
crois qu'on a...
Yeah, nose gets it. Nose gets it, right? Yeah, this shouldn't curl too much.
Comme aller. C'est bon. Ouais, pousse, ouais, faut pousser soit un petit peu plus, soit un petit peu moins. Franchement, ça va, je suis pas sûr. Il a quand même fait le double.
S'il marque 2, on a encore 4
Point d'avance avec. À ce moment-là, eux, ils vont jouer la double. Et nous, on est tranquille, hein, franchement, les gars. Faut juste qu'on contrôle le match maintenant.
Yep! Hard! Hard! Whoa! Yes, yes. Hard.
Gets 1, gets 2, moves them out of the way, and it will be 2 points for Team Benning, who clawed the deficit down to 3 after 6 ends of play. It is a 6-3 lead for Team Morges.
Il faut être devant chez line, hein, les gars. Faut pas être derrière, ok?
Alright.
Tu regardes le jeu simple.
Center guard.
I've stood at the pinnacle of curling and battled in the most intense games.
Out on the ice, there's no room for compromise.
And when the pressure's on, every millimeter counts.
It's not just a game.
It's about maximizing performance.
Pushing limits.
Seizing victory.
When victory hangs in the balance,
I know what I'm relying on.
It's a gold line.
it's a gold line.
It's a gold line.
And it's the choice of champions.
Either a 1 or a 3, right? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. He's.
So Team Banning picks up the 2 points at the end of the sixth, then make the score 6-3 as they face off against our Swiss men's team, and a pretty solid end there in that sixth, Tori. And I think that's something that you rely on going forward, even if this game necessarily doesn't turn out the way you'd hope it will if you're a Team Banning fan. That sixth end was more or less 8 made shots that led to them getting a 2. If one shot was made maybe just a little bit better, they could have had a possibility for 3 on the board. But they didn't give up. They put their heads down, grounded out, got their 2 points to make this a game and keep playing.
Yvonne! Il faut y aller pour la vitesse. Curl. Curl. J'y vais, Liam. Liam, j'y vais. Liam, j'y vais.
Looks pretty close.
I think if you're Team Benning too, like looking at who you're playing, having a like international competition in a game like this, you can always take things to learn from your opponents and the people you play against. So while the trip is on the line, you can also take those experiences here while in your own country and just learn from your opposition.
Well, the Swiss have shown them a lot too. If they've been paying attention, they've had excellent control over their weight most of the game, which has allowed them to make some very precise shots and keep the pressure on. I think there is a lot to learn from your opponents a lot of the time, but here especially. This one by Jacob Piernick is a second guard that goes up. A nice little stagger going on near the top of the ring. So Team Benning's going to have the opportunity to draw around it later, but I think the Swiss are going to try and beat them to it.
Yvonne, un peu space. Space.
Finishes to the backboard. Just didn't get that extra curl to hide it.
And as I look over at sheet 1, we do have our first set of handshakes in this draw. It was a single point for Team Chabad against Team Regan, but that's not going to be enough. They concede. Team Regan gets an 8-2 victory over Team Chabad. That moves Team Regan to 3-0 undefeated. That will direct them, or move them directly into the quarterfinals. Team Chabad finishes their round robin 0-3. But they will still play in that play-in draw tonight at 8 p.m.
Good opportunity here for Team Benning and Cameron Wright. While not shot rock, it is in a very usable spot for Team Benning. They can probably see about a good half of that rock. So
almost 2/3, yeah.
So very easy to promote.
Probably good chance, since we had handshakes on sheet 1, to talk about some of the other scores that are ongoing. Team Fisher stole 2 in the 5th to tie their game up against Team McDougall 4-4, so McDougall has the hammer in 6. The Swiss women's team bounced back with 2 more of their own. They are down 5-4 against Team Penston in their 6th end of play. Our feature here, we are in the 7th. Over on sheet 5. Currently playing the 6th, that is still Team Langford, holding on to that 5-4 lead. Furlan and Stapera just finished their 6th end of play, still waiting for the score to go up. Over on sheet 7, it looks like they have concluded as well, actually, as I don't see any teams over there. In the 6th end, it was another steal of 2 for Team Radia, put them out 8-3, and that's enough for the victory there. That moves Team Radia to 2-1, so we'll have to take a look at their LSD scores to see if that's enough to put them forward into the quarterfinals, likely based on the results of the other games that are ongoing. Team Shirk drops to 0-3 with that loss. And finally, over on sheet 8, Team Lanoy holding out a 5-2 lead over the undefeated Team Beamans in their 6th end.
Cameron Wright just putting together 2 pistols in this end, and you could even see the Swiss team say nice shot to him, so it's always good to see that level of sportsmanship.
A lot of pressure now being applied by Benning after getting 2 on the board in the last end.
And as mentioned, Furlan and Stapera finished their 6th end. It was a steal of 1 for Team Furlan, so they are currently up 4-3. That is a fantastic shot there by Noe Kuhn. May not have removed any of the red stones from play, but unlocks everything, opens it up. Now those red stones are completely exposed, and you're able to breathe a lot easier now if you're the Swiss.
Okay. Yep. Oh, this side. Okay. Okay, what are we thinking here? Just adjust from my last?
As mentioned with the rules, we do have that 2-hour, 5-minute time limit from the start of the game. So the cutoff for this game is 2:12. As I look at the clock, we just struck over to 1:54, which should give them 18 minutes to finish this end. So plenty of time. Should have more than enough to get their 8th end in play.
Struck. Super's really working hard. This side of the sheet hasn't been played in a couple ends. Most of the play has been on, I guess, looking at the front view of the camera, the left side of the sheet. So that guard just sitting a little higher than Team Benning would have liked.
Timeout being called by the Swiss.
That's good. What was it? Oh.
So we'll get a look at their coach coming out, Stuart Dryborough.
Well, I tried to.
Father to Liam and Nathan, I believe. And I think we'll likely hear him suggest just to peel. If you could ever get both of those red guards moving, then both sides of the sheet would be completely open and you'd be happy. I think it's a little early. You don't necessarily need to worry too much about those stones in the rings quite yet.
Ouais, c'est ça la gauche.
Et sur la première, on peut faire hit and roll in. Parce que max, parce qu'on va pas se prendre 2. S'il fait une garde, on va pas se prendre 2. Donc, et puis après, s'il vient un shot, nous on fait un deli. C'est moi. C'est ça.
Rob, how's your Swiss French or Swiss German?
Pardon me?
How's your Swiss French or Swiss German?
Not bad, but I can't hear them. I don't have earpieces, so I'm trying to read lips.
Ouais. Ouais, cool.
The hand gestures, it looks like they were trying to clean up
Pas
everything.
quoi, 3/4.
And I think that's the right
Faut pas
call.
prendre trop de
In a
risques.
perfect world, you get both of those red guards moving. I can't tell if that one is in tighter to the rings. It doesn't really matter, though. I think you just love to get the high guard, not one moving, get him out of the way.
Bien sûr, on marche toujours plus.
And that should be enough to ensure that you always have an open shot with your last.
I think they're looking.
On prend pas de
Nathan
risques.
just looked like he was lining it up to
Yep.
catch that one on the top.
I think that'd be bonus for them.
Oh!
Liam Dryborough, he's had an excellent game with his hits so far. Hits that on the safe side, though. Make sure he gets the peel.
Might give you a touch more, just to be secure.
Ok, ça va aussi.
Oh, that's even less.
So Owen McTavish will look to replace the guard. A little bit of panic here by the sweepers early. Saw that last one barely got over.
Hear Owen say it was a little bit less out of his hands. So going hard early, kind of killing the line a little bit.
There's more room to get to the one in the rings now.
And I wouldn't necessarily hate seeing them play that now,
Yeah.
with that guard being a little bit wider. You can actually, I'm sitting behind the hack, you can see enough of it to even make the double if you wanted to.
I didn't think so either. Yeah, they thought it was lighter out of my hand.
Juste ouvrir.
Je pense, garde ça simple pour l'instant.
Tu préfères ça, ouais. 2 tiers, Liam.
But this certainly isn't the wrong call at
La même
either.
chose qu'avant, puis c'est parfait.
Patient to walk up and peel once again.
Wow.
This one just a little wide again, but it has a chance.
Look at this.
So he makes contact, stuffs it, does stay in the rings, but rolls well out of the way. For all intents and purposes, that's
On a
just
pas
as
fait
good as the double peel.
On a disparu, frère. La pierre, on a disparu. On a disparu toute la pierre. Bon, c'est bien.
Sweeper's not really
Let it
wanting
curl.
to touch this. Trying to curl it a little bit for line.
Or right to frozen.
Who's
Right to
bothering
frozen.
you when you have to escort a
Whoa,
rock
whoa,
down
no
the ice
bounds.
and don't get the
On a pris, tu vois.
Ends up in maybe a slightly interesting spot. Try the double. It looks like it might jam on that back red. If you could ever get it spinning off out of the 8-foot,
En vrai, j'ai ma vitesse.
pretty much clear up the rings for you for your last.
Ça part, c'est déjà bon. Je fais 7. Donne-moi ça.
Throw this hard, hit it.
Non, 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 non. 3 quarts, tu bloques.
Half rock, 2/3 on the high side should be pretty close. Even if it does jam at that back one, you got a wide open 4-foot for your last and you're happy.
They do the double and roll out. Well, it might go through the hole, actually.
Lui-même dire faut juste ouvrir le 4 complètement.
I don't know about that. There's a triple in there somewhere, I'm sure. I don't know, hope he knows it or something.
Nathan Dryborough looking to open things up.
Tiens! Tiens! Tire! Tiens! Tire! Tiens! Tire, 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 tire!
Gets one, gets two, and spins that red all the way out of the 8-foot. Fantastic result, and with the way he's been playing, you got to imagine he's feeling pretty confident about a draw to the 8-foot now.
So where do you put it, Matt?
Well, normally if this was a close game, I would think try to just bite the top of the 8-foot, put something in his way. Down 3 without, you're probably going to need a steal of a couple anyways. So I don't necessarily hate the draw to his own or the draw to the wings just to make Nathan draw against 3 with the thought that, well, if he's going to miss an easy shot, you might as well make it so he's drawing against 3 instead of 2. And with that draw to the top 8, it's just to bite the top 8. It's pretty precise. If you're a foot deep, it just gives him a wide open hit. I think you just have to draw to the wings and take your chances that he misses the draw. And maybe you can get back into the game.
It looks like Benning called a timeout.
So they might have a discussion about maybe playing the draw to the middle instead. Either way, in my mind, I'm just trying to think your opponent's going to have a pretty easy shot anyways. So you can take on the more difficult, more precise shot for yourself, or just play the easy shot, and you're hoping your opponent misses a draw to the 8-foot anyways. So why not take the easy shot yourself along the way? And really, the precise shot that you're taking, it's just to put a rock in his eye. It doesn't really make things all that much more difficult for your opponent.
I was saying make him
I
draw.
thought we want him to draw.
He's gonna make the miss a draw the 8-foot?
Yeah, I think so. I think we want him to draw.
Well, I don't know.
He needs to miss
Oh yeah, he's made every hit.
He's made every hit? Okay. Okay, that's fine. Because I was thinking we put it on the tee line on the 4, and if he hits and rolls out, you get 2.
Well, he's not going to hit and roll out, I think.
Okay. So you want so
maybe.
one call is that one, or do you want to go in the middle on a top call? But then
Now that I look at it, I'm fine with him playing this hit because that's
I'd say, yeah, you
not
can see.
easy.
I thought you could see more.
This one, like, if you're putting it on like the tee line, like intersection you need in the 4, that spot may be funny. I don't know. It may fall. It may curl. So that's a hit and roll out for 2, or you put over here and you're drawing 8-foot for 3, right? Or against 3, right? So what are my 2 thoughts?
But what do you
want to make him hit or draw?
I'm not sure.
I feel we want to make him.
I kind of want to make him draw.
He'll
You
probably
want to make him draw?
Yeah.
Okay, then your shot does nothing like that.
I think he'll make both, but
Well, okay, obviously, yeah. But it's been longer since he's drawn. So,
what do you think?
So, we're going
4-6.
So are we going here or here?
Go over here, original
To the corner? Okay.
Okay, so they're going to end up sticking with the original call.
Center
The
line.
discussion there was just really about what do you want the opponent
And it
to throw.
went
They discussed briefly maybe
top 4.
drawing something to the side 4, and maybe you get a hit and roll out, but
I think
after a little bit of a discussion, they decided they want to try and make Nathan draw, which
yeah, exactly.
I think is the
Even
right
if
call.
you're in guard, it's not horrible.
I was trying to think about it. I don't remember the last draw he threw. He's definitely thrown hits for the last couple ends, but last draw he threw might have been a few ends ago, so you're probably more likely to get the miss out of him with that.
Justin!
So they're going to play the same shot, draw into the top 12 on the right-hand side and sit 3.
Just biting.
This is really curling. Sweepers need to make sure it gets there.
light.
And it doesn't quite get there, so it is just sitting 2. It still doesn't change the shot that Nathan needs to make. Needs a piece of the 8-foot for his single.
A lot of the action on the outturn side of this sheet.
Nobody's
in, so now he's got a lot of space though with his intern.
Ethan Dryborough, who hasn't thrown a draw for a few ends, needs one here with his final stone in the 7th.
That's pretty equivalent.
Sweepers don't seem to mind it early, keeping their brooms down, cleaning.
Is it up or no?
Oui, 15. 15. J'ai 15.
And they'll walk it in as he'll get good piece of the 4-foot for his single point. Take a 7-3 lead after 7 ends of play. Team Benning having a quick discussion of whether to continue, but it looks like they will as Aaron Benning starts to slide down to the home end. So we'll take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, Team Benning need to find a way to score 4 in the 8th end to force a shootout.
Peace of mind, the life you want, and financial independence. At World Financial Group, we believe your path to any of these goals is paved by financial knowledge. That's why our agents spend every day empowering individuals and families of all backgrounds with the knowledge to create the life they want. No matter your financial goals, WFG can help you own your future. Visit worldfinancialgroup.com to learn more.
Il est pas con, il joue vers la center. Il est pas con, il est pas con, il joue vers la center. Allez, curl, 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 curl. Allez, on va pour le tic.
So we pick up here at the start of our final end of play. Team Benning finds themselves down 7-3 with the hammer, and will need to find a way to manufacture a 4 spot. The Swiss threw their first stone through the rings, and this little bit of a maybe backwards play by Team Benning with the hammer trying to throw the center guard, but I understand why. Trying to utilize the no-tick rule to their effect. Unfortunately, just didn't quite grab the center, so the chance to tick here for the Swiss. And we'll touch that guard over to a corner. Roll through the rings. And now Team Benning will throw their second corner.
I always love that play when I see a team with the hammer throw a center guard when they're down by a bunch. It just throws your opponents off if they've never seen it before. And
well, also in this situation, you know your opponents aren't going to draw around it or play any sort of really aggressive play, so you're not necessarily all that worried about them getting in a advantageous position or anything down the middle.
Leave it high. Oh, high? Okay.
And if you're down 4, you clearly want rocks in play as well. So you never know in those situations. Your opponents might choose to draw around your center guard. You throw another one. They're like, okay, we'll draw around again. Next thing you know, you got 4 rocks in play in the first 4 rocks.
So a second guard goes up. A reminder with the 5-rock rule, Team Driver is not able to remove this red from play, but they can still tick it. So he's going to ask Noe Kuhn to do just that. I'd love to push this to the back corner of the sheet if he can. Seems to have a good go at it. Might be a little solid. Depends on how much he hits. Doesn't quite push it out of the rings, but that is a fantastic shot there by Noe Kuhn. Really clears up the front of the rings. And now if you're team Benning, really your only way to a 4 spot would be some sort of a flash.
That's good.
I don't hate throwing one more guard either. Seems rock too early.
Yeah, I think you continue to, you toss up a tight guard, and Team Dryborough will probably walk up to peel the high one and slowly work their way down into the rings. This one just ends up being a biter.
I got a 428. So yeah.
And Noe Kuhn will successfully make that guard disappear. And we'll see a little bit of back and forth here. Team Benning will guard, they'll peel, and eventually Benning will have to play into the rings and hope for some sort of a flash by the Swiss in order to try and get his 4 in this end. Update across the sheets. We mentioned that I believe Caitlin Langford scored a single in the 7th to take a 6-5 lead going into their 8th end against Team Hayward. Over on 6, it was a 5 spot in the 7th when they were down 1 for Team Stapera. That pulls them out to an 8-4 lead over Team Furlan. And Team Lanoy pulled themselves out to a 6-2 lead over Beemans. They're currently playing the 7th. We do have handshakes. Looks like over on sheet 2. That was a fairly close game. McDougall was up 1 without in that last end. So we'll try to get an update on exactly what happened over there in the 7th.
I believe they stole 2 or 3.
Okay, so McDougall, likely the win, but we'll get the confirmation. And back on our feature sheet, well, is that what they call the commentator's curse a bit, Rob? We got that flash we were talking about, so all of a sudden there's maybe a breath of life here for Team Benning.
Pourquoi ils vont jamais marquer 4 ans?
Line's good.
So Owen McTavish looks to sink one around this red guard now.
Take a look, take a look.
Would like to get it deep into the rings to give them
curl.
space to maybe fit another one if they need. Needs to curl now, though.
This is going to stay high.
So interesting player, still going for the guard. I think they'd love to. The nice part is those 2 reds at the top of the rings are doubleable.
Yeah.
Thought we might see them change up a little bit and maybe play a hit and roll or a hit and stay.
Yep. Might be in the back.
So we mentioned that win by McDougall. That pulls them out to 2-1. Which may be enough to get them that bye into the quarterfinals. Team Fisher drops to 1-2 in that loss. Over on sheet 8 as well, we had handshakes as Team Lanoy finishes out their victory, gets their first win of the competition. They defeat the undefeated Team Beemans, who drops to 2-1. Looked like a single point for Team Beemans, so chalk it up as a 6-3 victory for Team Lanoy.
Do we not want to tight then so we can split it? Well, we want it splittable, no?
Also on our Swiss women's side, they were forced to a single in the 7th, so they find themselves down 2 without the hammer and 8 against Team Penston right beside us. Is the call here just a guard for now, Tori?
I think so. Because I heard Owen asking, do we want to make it deep enough that it's splittable? So.
Line's good.
I think they're assuming that
Girl.
our Swiss team is going to take out one of the rocks in the house, and then you can split this on the next to make them throw against 4. Just doesn't look like it's going to get far enough.
So Nathan Dryborough will now have the opportunity to make a double here, which would end the game as Team Benning only has 2 stones remaining.
If he knows it, then we gotta look around, then he flashes, right? What's up?
Yeah, and I think maybe just a bit of a miscalculation on that one for Owen. Really, with the 3 rocks, you could only guard 1. You were always going to leave 2 stones open. By tossing that guard, all the Swiss has to do is hit 2 open stones to essentially run them out, and all they could score was 3. If you put that stone in the rings, you maybe get a chance that if they miss the double, you can still have 4 rocks in the rings by the end, although this one
got lucky.
Got a little lucky at the back, makes contact with that red stone and removes it from play.
You can see the look on his face.
If that had just missed that back one and left them sitting 3, all of a sudden the 4 is alive again. Now Aaron Benning just will make this draw around the guard, and it'll be a wide open hit for Dryborough for the win.
Line's good. Just gotta curl a bit. Line's good. Straight.
Line seems to be pretty good here. Just need it to stay in the rings.
It doesn't matter. They're in that one.
And it will. So it's an open hit for the Swiss here for the victory. Needs to make contact with this red stone over on the wings.
All right. At least it's wide.
Final stone here for Nathan Dryborough, trying to put this game away. A little wide out of the hand. Trying to get it to move, and he will catch enough of it. Removes it from play and runs Team Benning out of stones. So we'll end up Team Benning sitting 2 there. They'll score the 2. But it finishes as a 7-5 victory for Team Morges, ACE&Company. They move to 3-0, earn their way directly into the quarterfinals. Team Benning drops to 1-2 and will need to play their way into the quarterfinals tonight. Don't go anywhere. We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll pick up with one of our other games. There are 3 games remaining as well. We are preparing all the playoff scenarios so that we can keep you up to date before the stream ends. So quick commercial break and we'll be right back.
I've stood at the pinnacle of curling and battled in the most intense games.
Out on the ice, there's no room for compromise.
And when the pressure's on, every millimeter counts.
It's not just a game.
It's about maximizing performance,
Pushing limits.
Seizing victory.
When victory hangs in the balance,
I know what I'm relying on.
It's a gold line.
it's a gold line.
It's a gold line.
And it's the choice of champions.
And we're back after that quick commercial break, and we're going to move over to Sheet 5 right beside our feature game. This is the matchup against Team Hayward out of Manitoba and Team Caitlin Langford. Caitlin Langford currently with a 6-5 lead throwing the red stones. However, it is Team Hayward with the hammer. Team Langford looking pretty good in the current scenario. Sitting 4, it looks like, with a few guards up. This one, though, a little bit heavy.
Now sitting 5.
That 4-foot is wide open for Hayward to take a good one. A little shocked that they're deciding to draw through such a small port instead of just outside around that yellow. But they just threw one down this line, I believe.
That was the third for Caitlin Langford. Maddie Anishka. So Kira Cron, the third for this team out of Manitoba, looks to draw through this tight port.
They do, but is it too heavy?
Now, of course, we haven't been watching this sheet. It's a bit of a surprising way they decided to go at that. Maybe they were very comfortable with the path.
Came through that port twice.
Yeah.
First time was heavy, and that one not as heavy, but now sits third.
So Caitlin Langford, as we move on to skips stones here in the 8th end, with a 1-point lead without the hammer. Currently sitting in a very good position. Would love to put this draw just biting the top of the 4-foot. Caitlin Langford with her first, looking for the draw. Both of these teams, or excuse me, Team Langford looking for their first win of the event. Team Hayward currently sitting at 1-1. Would love to get into that 2-1 jam to try and find their way into the quarterfinals. This one coming up a little bit light. Going to just touch that yellow stone over, though, and blocks a lot of the easy ways into the rings. Maybe not quite what they were hoping for, but a pretty good result nonetheless. We do have final skip stones coming in the match between Team Penston and Team Basel Aro, our Swiss women's representatives. The Swiss just drew in to sit 2, down 2 without the hammer, but it looks like one of those red stones is wide open, and Team Penston will have an open hit for the win over there.
If you're Team Hayward, I think now is decision time. Do you want to try and find a shot for 2? Or you can open the front and guarantee yourself a shot for the for the tie.
And that's the thing to remember. It's not like a standard game where if you go to the extra without the hammer, if you go to the extra without the hammer, you're maybe, well, at the men's and women's, it's not good odds. It might be a little bit better at the U21 level, but you're still not the favorite. Or make sure you score your one and draw to the hammer, or draw to the button. You'd imagine 50-50 shot between the teams. So I think we've discussed this as a team myself, playing in the slams where they have a very similar rule. And we've always said to ourselves, make sure you can tie the game. At the very worst, make sure you have your shot for one at the end to tie the game and go to the extra, quote unquote, or at least the draw. Looks like Team Hayward's going to try and find their way 4-2. And as we look over at the game between Penston and the Swiss, it is the Penston skip who has just flashed her final stone of the game, had a wide open hit to close out the game, but she misses, leads to a steal of 2 for the Swiss. So they are going to a draw to the button for the win.
We just watched that Swiss skip. Her last shot was a draw to the full 4. It was only half a rock off the button. So she's got a pretty good feel for that draw weight right now.
The lead for the Swiss is, it is the 4th rock thrower for the Swiss, I believe, getting in the hack, Alina Arnold. And on our sheet here, we see Team Hayward comes up light, can't get by the guard. And now you're going to have a tough way to score your single. Over on sheet 6, they have finished it up. It is a victory for Team Stapera. 8-4 victory. That moves Team Stapera to 3-0. They'll get a bye straight to the quarterfinals. Team Furlan drops to 1-2. The Swiss Rock is just stopping over on the other sheet beside us as we get a look there with the cameras. Stops just about full 4. Plus an inch or two, so probably needs a good piece of full 4 or a piece of the button here. We'll see who gets the call here to throw this one. I see the skip, Emma Penston, going down to the far end. But it looks like it's going to be the lead, Sofia Barbosa, who's going to get the call in this extra end to play the draw for the win. It's always interesting seeing what teams decide to do here, Rob. We've seen a number of different strategies at the slams, and I think it comes down to, well, who's been throwing that draw the most? That's usually your lead. Who's done it more recently? Who's comfortable with it? Of course, if your skip just made a draw to get yourself to this point, then maybe that's them, but I think the lead is always a good option. Final stone on the way in that match. Sofia Barbosa needs a piece of the button. Looks a little heavy early. Now the sweepers are getting close.
You gotta just let it die. And right there.
Needs a piece of the button, and they will. It'll hang on to the back of the button, so a scary moment there for Team Penston after giving up the steal in 8, but they're able to close it out. They get the victory in the extra, which moves them to 2-1. The Swiss women will drop to 1-2, so Team Penston's still alive for that bye directly into the quarterfinals. And looking over here at our second feature matchup here between Hayward and Langford, Team Hayward trying to find a way in there to score. Looks like that red-yellow combination on the guards could be used to raise that yellow stone into the forefoot for their single.
That's better than what they were looking at. Tori, didn't you see that they looked at that wide on the right side, the edge of the 12, maybe trying to come in off.
Oh.
And they looked at it a couple of times, but with that yellow where it is behind the red, that's much safer.
Mm-hmm. A difficult attempt nonetheless. Shayla Hayward, final stone here in this game, trying to force a shootout. Stone is on its way. Seem to be going for line. It's curling hard off of the center line. And just not going to get enough. Over curls. It ends up as a steal of 2 for Caitlin Langford and a final score of 8-5 as Caitlin Langford gets her first victory of the event. She pulls up to 1-2, pulls Hayward down to 1-2. And I'm just checking with our... So we are going to take a quick look at the standings at the completion of this draw, starting with the U18 boys. It's Team Newport, Team Stesky, and Team Genjaga, as well as Shell, who holds on to that final berth to the quarterfinals. They move on. The other teams will play a play-in game at 4 o'clock Eastern today. One of those games will be our feature, so feel free to tune in then. Up next is the U21 boys. We mentioned McTavish had already secured the top seed, but the Swiss accompany him into the quarterfinals, and it was a bit of a logjam at 2-1, 3 teams, but based on LSD numbers, it is Radia and Team Beemans who hold on to claim those last 2 spots into the quarterfinals. McDougall will fall back to that play-in game. And finally, finishing up with the U21 women here at the completion of those final games. Stapera pulls to 3-0, Regan pulls to 3-0, and Blades, who was already there, claims that 3rd spot. They are followed up by Team St. James, who claims that last direct berth to the quarterfinals, and everyone else will play a play-in game tonight at 8 p.m. From myself, Tori, Rob Faulds, we thank you all for joining us for this big feature matchup. Our next feature will be at 4 p.m. again, one of those play-in games for the U18.